Yeah.
That's good.
Welcome to the Bible in 1 Year podcast, brought to you by two Brits and a Bible. If you like the idea of a casual yet meaningful, fun chat about the Bible, listen in, something new could be for you.
Today's day 158, covering Job 21, 22, and 23. If you need a brief overview of those chapters, they're in the description.
Oh, we got there. It's been a bit of a wild ride so far this evening, but heck, here we go. You got to love it.
Yeah, absolutely. Gotta love it, mate. Gotta love it. That was so funny. And then I was waiting on you for the timing thing, by the way. Anyway, that was a bit of pre-recording stuff. I don't know if it'll make the episode. Right. Job 21, verse 7. Why do the wicked live on, growing old and increasing in power? So obviously, Job, the whole book is a lot to do with the problem of evil, the problem of suffering, right? It's this huge theological question, way above anyone's pay grade, let alone us two idiots. It's above anyone's pay grade. So we know that God allows us a lot of freedom in this life, and it seems growingly obvious that this fallen world does sometimes reward evil, but that doesn't mean that God's hand isn't on things. And it's just one of those things that caught me. And it's this is a question we've been bashing our heads against for centuries, for millennia, thousands of years.
True that. Yeah, man, it's such a good question. I pulled out in verse 14, but pretty much the exact same point. It's a continuation of it, really. Yet they say to God, leave us alone. We have no desire to know your ways. Who is the Almighty that we should serve him? What would we gain by praying to him? But their prosperity is not in their own hands. And that exact same point, these people are seemingly to the world very successful, very wealthy. They've got everything whatever, but actually their prosperity is not in their own hands. They don't realize that. You take Elon Musk, insanely wealthy, but whilst it seems impossible, he could lose that all. Or take Steve Jobs, right? Look at a slightly different side of that, where it has literally the most successful company in the world, argument's sake, whatever. Yeah. Lose your health. It makes no difference. But yeah, these people are like, I don't need you, God. No, we really do.
Yeah. 100%, dude. And that's exactly it. I don't know the answer, but I know that the answer is God at some point,
Yeah.
So I guess I kind of do know the answer then, actually. I don't know the answer to the original question. I just know that the answer to the question eventually is.
Yeah.
But that's a great point. We've both got 22-2. I'm tempted to do a rock, paper, scissors just for fun.
Cool,
who gets to do that bit? You'll probably win.
What are we doing it, right?
Yeah, let's do it. 3, 2, 1. No way!
Wow.
I've won. Okay, I'm on a hot streak. Okay, so 22-2. So can a man be of benefit to God? Can even a wise person benefit him? And that was another big point for me, was just God doesn't need any of us at all.
Yeah.
He wants to have relationship out of his perfect love and mercy. And because he obviously made us lovingly with his own hands, right? But he doesn't need us. Never get that twisted. And when you do good things, don't become super self-righteous about it or anything, because it's not about you. It's about glorifying God, and it always has been. It's about building a relationship with him.
Exactly. We've used the analogy before of where Archie wants to help me with a project, and it's dude, you are going to do nothing but slow me down here. I love you to pieces. I want to encourage you. I want you to learn. I want you to grow. But really, this is for your benefit, not mine. And that is, I feel exactly the same way it goes with God. We just trip him up and get under his feet, but he loves us so much that he lets us get under his feet without crushing us.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a great analogy. It really is. I think you've got another one from
22-9. Yes, indeed. You sent the widows away empty-handed. A really simple little bit in there, and I was just like, really? Did he? That doesn't sound like it's within Job's character. In a couple of days' time, we're going to chat actually about how Job's saying he welcomed everyone in, traveler and stuff like that. And I'm like, well, someone be lying up here, because I don't know, man. It wasn't really a point to make. Just not sure where this sits.
Yeah. Well, that's the whole thing, isn't it? His friends might be accusing him of things that aren't true because they know at the core that he isn't a perfectly righteous man like he thinks he is.
Yeah.
Right. But then, obviously false accusations is worse still. So that's pretty terrible.
Or they're potentially just doing like I remember one time where there was a widow and Job didn't let him in. And so it's like, you don't let the widows in. It's like,
right.
Did that happen once? Or
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. That's a really good point. I think you have to go next, actually, mate, and then I'll go into 2230.
All right, Tuesday Moosty. So it was amazing. I love finding old notes in my Bible because it just is, where was this from? And I had a note here. This is from when I was in Uganda at mission school, 2012. So this is literally 10 years ago that I was making these notes, which is just banging. And it's the whole section of Job 22, 21 through to 29. And this bit in here, 24 says, assign your nuggets to the dust. And then 25, it says, then the Almighty will be your gold. And the note that I have, basically, it says, lay down our riches and gold will be our wealth. And it's this concept of like, the more we give away, the more we lay down and let God move in our lives, the more wealthy we'll be in knowledge and wisdom. And as we come on to again in a couple of days' time, fear of God, which is the beginning of wisdom, right? And so it's just this, again, this oxymoron. I'm not sure if that's the right use of that. It's for today's
paradox.
Yeah. So it's a magnanimous paradox. That's another enjoy. I'm not sure if anyone's mentioned about the appointment yet, but here goes. Melody asked me about that the other day. I was like, I ain't telling you, you ain't getting through much. Anyway, but yeah, this whole laying down our riches and gold will be our wealth. Trust God, like give it over to him and just let him give you what he's gonna, because it's gonna be more than we can give him.
You know what? It's early on in the recording session, but that's good. That has to be good. Good stuff, man. And I love the fact that it's a decade since you put that note. Mm-hmm. That's awesome. So Job 22:30, he will deliver even one who is not innocent, who will be delivered through the cleanness of your hands. And I just said that's Jesus. It's that simple, really, right? So you get these little pointers towards Jesus, and one of them is obviously it's his righteousness that cloaks us, it's his cleanness that cleanses us. And I love the fact that Job and his friends, they get so much right about God, but they still get so much wrong about God. Like we've talked about that before, right? And it's the same with all of us, but it's just kind of funny because this is thousands of years before Jesus.
Absolutely. That one got a note. I noted that one in there. I like that, man. The thing that I then picked out next was literally the very first bit of Job 23. And it's the bits that get ignored the whole time. It says, then Job replied. And so this is now Job talking. But what I found interesting was it says, then Job replied. Now, to reply, you have to have something said to you and you have to reply to that same topic in my head. But nothing in what Job says references anything to do with what his buddies just said. So is Job replying, or is Job just carrying on his rabbit trail? And it's not a reply if you're like, this is going on, this is going on, this is going on, this is going on, and then you just chat about something on a completely different wavelength.
That's a good point. I think it could just be like a translation thing. Maybe that's the closest word in the Hebrew or whatever. But yeah,
Job bitched and moaned for a little while. You're not allowed to put that in.
Yeah, weren't allowed. So Job 23:7, there the upright can establish their innocence before him, and there I would be delivered forever from my judge. So this worries me about, I said old Joby Maguire, pretty bad. but just the fact that Job thinks he's, in one sense, he's got it right because he's so confident in his relationship with God. But he's also slightly got it wrong because he's so self-righteous that he's like, oh, God will just let me off the hook. It's fine. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's a little bit worrying, that bit. Anyway, I thought that was quite interesting. Then just a quick shout out to Nicole, who's one of the people that's doing the Bible in a year on the app with us. You're more than welcome to join, anyone who's listening to this at any time. But I have treasured the words of his mouth more than my daily bread. And obviously that's a direct reference to Jesus. And I love that. The idea that man cannot live on bread alone.
Yeah, that's beauty.
Shout out to Nicole. That was awesome.
Smashing. The last thing I had in here, Job 23 verse 8. But if I go to the east, he's not there. If I go to the west, I don't find him. When he's at work in the north, I don't see him. Turn to the south, I don't catch a glimpse of him. And it's just this whole thing, like, that's just so not true. You just have to have your eyes open to see him. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. We have to answer, but he is there. It's like the fiery armies that Elisha saw with his servant. And it's exactly like that. If you just turn around, no, he's not there, but look for him and you will find him.
100%.
Tomorrow's readings, Job 24, 25, 26, 27, and 28. So you better get in reading.
In the meantime, please consider joining us on social media at 2 Brits and a Bible, and share this with someone to help spread the word of God.